Back to Kesley's point about landowners getting more of a vote, and like they said before, most of the people that aren't educated. If you have a true democracy, you start throwing people into voting on issues they don't know about, issues they haven't learned about yet, and it's just going to be absolute anarchy because more people, if they don't know what the issue is and they don't understand it, they're going to react with their emotions rather than logic. At the same time, I think that, shows to a point that you should educate those people rather than, just casting them aside. But at the same time, they're just going to react with all their emotions rather than through thought and logic to be able to vote properly.
Thank you, Maury. King Louis makes a comment. People who do not own land do not have to pay tax on the land, and if representatives pass a law that increases land tax, it would be unfair for the people who own said land. King Louis, if you would like to clarify, but it sounds like you're stating that you would disagree with non-landowners having a large power in government because they may be able to pass laws that would go against the benefit of landowners. And Palm comments, when it comes to voting, the women don't even have a right to vote, which Palm thinks is unfair because they are living on the land too. Thank you for your inputs. Kazale says that they understand the sentiment for the power of the people, but they would just like to make a note that the landowners of our nation are driving the large majority of our nation's economic sustainability, and also pay taxes to financially support our government. We should give additional power to these people for the fact of their direct involvement with keeping our nation alive. King Louis agrees with Kazale. Great clarification. Leon seconds Palm. I do see that this is quite a heated topic we got going here, and I do think it is very important that we do get members from each of the key sections to help further discuss our legislature. This is going forward. This will be one of our biggest issues in developing our nation, and will define ourselves for quite some time. Going back on the topics of women's rights, I can certainly see your points in discussion. I, for one, would also encourage and support every member of our nation being able to have the representation within our nation, whether it be through a representative that votes for them or in a pure democracy. However, I cannot vouch for a pure democracy, going back on some of the other claims that should we need to vote quickly, a pure democracy with the size of the French nation and as it grows will become ever more difficult.